Life Speaks. Through struggles, success, music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged. Join us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, and verses of victory. So when life speaks, you'll speak life. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to When Life Speaks. I'm your host, Andrea L. Hines, and this is your program for inspiration and encouragement, meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul. We're going to do what we do here at the WOW Network, Women of Essence Radio and TV, and what's more, we get to do it together. Because life happens to all of us, and it has a language and a voice all its own. But for now, I want you to turn down the volume of life, turn up the volume here, and get ready to receive, so when life speaks, you'll speak life. You have been listening to the music of Tim Watson from his CD Up and Atom, and you'll be hearing more of his music throughout the program, and I hope you will enjoy it. Well, again, welcome to When Life Speaks. This is Andrea L. Hines inviting you to share this broadcast. We are on the WOW Network, Women of Essence Radio and TV. You can call in at 781-448-0411, and you can also hear us on all your social media platforms. Well, we've got a great show planned for you, and I have a very special guest who is going to be speaking life to us and with us. She's going to share her story, which in and of itself is quite a journey. But I'm not going to tell you who she is just yet. I'll just say she was an ACHI award winner. If you never heard of ACHI, it is defined as Strength in Sisterhood. And the organization that presents these prestigious awards is Women Supporting Women. Before I introduce you to my guest, I thought it might be a good idea to introduce myself first, and I will right after this. I don't usually talk about myself, but since we're taking this journey together, well, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about who I am, what I do, and why you're going to enjoy When Life Speaks. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and I now live in the beautiful city of Raleigh, North Carolina. I am a mother, a grandmother, author, poet, inspirational speaker, certified life coach, and elder at River Church in Durham, North Carolina. I've received an honorary doctorate of divinity, and I am now the proud host of When Life Speaks right here on the WOW Network, Women of Essence Radio and TV. So sometimes you will hear people refer to me as Elder Hines or Dr. Hines, or Dr. Mom or Nanny, but at the end of the day, I'm Andrea L. Hines. No tags and no titles. It's all part of life and the many different ways life speaks to us. It speaks through tests and trials and tragedies and titles and triumphs. It speaks to us in the midst of outer storms and inner struggles. Life has its own voice, and sometimes that voice can just seem to be so loud. Sometimes that volume is caused by the clutter of what to do, how to do, when to do, and all those things that simply disturb you and pull you out of a place of peace. I put it this way. Sound is sometimes deafening. Sometimes it is sweet. At times, I find my inner voice and outer sounds compete. The sounds of life are everywhere, no matter where I go. Traffic, conversations, even howling winds that blow can sound like so much jumbled noise ringing in my ear. I want to turn the volume down and let my thinking clear. Every now and then, I know I need a quiet place where I can sit, reflect a bit, and then reset my pace. So let's just take a few minutes right now to reset, and we'll be right back with When Life Speaks and our guest for the evening. That was music by none other than Tim Watson, who's our featured artist today. He is an outstanding musician, one of the favorites here at When Life Speaks, and you'll be hearing a lot more from him in shows to come. You were listening to a cut from his latest CD, Up and Atom, called Time and Space. If you want to enjoy more of the musical artistry of Tim Watson or find out more about him, just go to timwatsonmusic.com.
Now, without further ado, I tell you what, I have been waiting for this, and I've been telling you that I'm going to have this very, very special guest. But here it is time to interview Miss Darlene Mingo. We're going to have an uninterrupted time with her this evening. She is an award winner. She is founder and CEO of the WOW Network, Women of Essence Radio and Television. And I tell you what, I am just happy to have her on the show. I could tell you a lot of things about her, but I want her to introduce herself to all of my listeners this evening. Darlene, are you there?
I am here. Thank you for having me, Dr. Hines. I'm excited about being here on When Life Speaks. So thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be actually your first guest on your own radio show. So to God be the glory.
Certainly
Thank you for having me.
What a premiere this is for me. I mean, Darlene, this has been a whirlwind time, not just for you, but for myself and for the other radio affiliates. And I just appreciate you taking the time out to be on the show this evening. So the last time we were together, I was in the seat that you're in tonight. You were interviewing me, and now I have an opportunity to interview you. But you have quite a story to tell, and I'm not going to get in the way of that, but I just want you to let the listeners know a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk some about the awards you've received, the challenges that you have had to face, and the way that you have overcome when life was speaking to you. So just go for it, lady.
Well, thank you for giving me the floor. I, again, am excited to be here. It's an honor to be here. And, yes, it's flipped. It has really changed because, yes, I was the one interviewing you before. Now you have your own radio show, and you are interviewing me. Look at how God moves things. When life speaks, and it's time to move when God says move. So I'm glad you answered the call for your assignment, first and foremost. But I'm as she said, my name is Darlene Mingo. I am originally from New Jersey. Been in North Carolina for 11 years now, and 11 years has felt like 3 years. We have discussed before how you know how time can just fly by. You know, it seems like the older you get, the quicker time goes. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm just excited about what has happened to me and transpired in the 11 years, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, it all, because it all worked together for my good. I live here in North Carolina. I am a hairstylist by trade, but hairstyling is my ministry. It goes beyond the hair. But I didn't learn that until later on. So, again, when life speaks and life begins to teach us things, and when we're being aware of what God is doing in our lives around us and even in the lives of others who are around us, it's an opportunity, all of it, to grow. So in the last 11 years, it's taken me from a place that I used to be to where I am now, a place where how I used to be, how I'm different now, how God gets the glory because I'm no longer the same Darlene that's lived in New Jersey, but I'm the Darlene that he destined me to be in North Carolina. So right now, and being the CEO of the WOW Network, Women of Essence Radio and Television, God has taken me to a place I would have never fathomed. I would have never saw myself in radio or even owning a network. But again, with all things with God, all things are possible.
That is the truth. That is nothing but the truth. But I want to ask you, Darlene, being a hairstylist in New Jersey and making the transition to come to North Carolina couldn't have been easy. And I'm sure that you faced some challenges there, because when life speaks, we often think of life speaking only through tragedies and struggles and all of that. But life spoke to you through success, because you were a very successful entrepreneur there. Is that not right?
Yes, I was. I had 2 salons in New Jersey, all eyes on me and blazing braids. I had employees. My salons were doing well, and in the midst of my success, even prior to it, my marriage began to fall apart, and then we became separated. And in that interim, and running a business and dealing with, I have 2 daughters that I love dearly, and I have 2 grandsons that I love dearly, and they're Amani and Amira, Jonathan and Logan. And so having 2 younger daughters at that time, and going through a separation leading into a divorce, and running a business and dealing with the different personalities of people and employees, and then I just got saved. I wasn't raised in church. For the start there, I wasn't raised in church. We were CEO Christians, Christmas and Easter only. Okay, so when we would go to church, we were the ones that would crowd everyone else. But my mother was raised in church. My brother was raised in church, but I was not. So I knew and heard about the Lord, but I didn't know him for myself. So going through all of that and learning about the Lord at the same time is what I believe kept me. I know kept me, because I was in the midst of breaking down. I was in the midst of I was kind of checking out, not taking my own life, but mentally I was just exhausted. And I was just like, well, God, what is going on here? What can I do? And I had people around me that were pouring into my life. I was an armor bearer for one of the ministers at the church, and many of the people that supported the church, supported the salon, were from the church. So we had ministers and deacons, and one of my barbers, he was a minister in training, and myself, and I had a gatekeeper. Her name was Marlene. I had 2 receptionists, Greg and Marlene, but Marlene was my gatekeeper, and she loved the Lord. And so we would set the atmosphere, so it was a place that people would come and we'd be worshiping, and people would walk off the street and ask for prayer. And it was something I had never experienced before in my life. But God was using the business for his glory. But then when things really began to break down, and we were heading towards divorce, and it was just too heavy, I decided to sell my businesses. And when I decided to sell my businesses, the minister I was an armor bearer for said to me, her name was Rosalind, Minister Rosalind, she said, did the Lord tell you to do that? And I said, yeah, he told me to do that. Lies I told, because the Lord did not tell me to do that. But because it was just too much on me at the time, I couldn't handle it. But then that's when the time comes when life speaks, when we have to learn how to give things to God, because he said to cast our burdens upon him. So if we give it to him and stop trying to carry it ourselves, it won't be that heavy. No, you're going to still feel pain. Yes, we're going to feel pain. Yes, we're going to sometimes, our knees may buckle, but yes, what? We're not out. We may be bowed down, but we're not broken. So my thing is, I said, well, Lord, okay, whatever you want to do with this. And after I sold the salons and my mother got well, because I was taking care of her, right, because my mother had been sick for a long time. And so she got well, and then I felt as though I needed to shift. And that's when the Lord led me to Raleigh, North Carolina. He told me to leave your father's house. I was actually and literally living in one of my father's houses, because my father was a real estate investor and a contractor. So I was living in one of his houses, and the Lord spoke to me and said, leave your father's house and go to a land I'll show you. And that was Raleigh, North Carolina, and that's how I got here today.
And I tell you this, too, when you made that transition, I know that you had no idea what was going to be in store for you, because that transition led you to a phenomenal year that you had last year. And I want the people to know a little bit about what happened to you and the red envelope.
My. So I used to have my own radio show called Life and Purpose Radio, and I did that for some time, and then I stopped. And then, after some time, after that, I received a red envelope in the mail. And so I'm like, what is this? So I opened it up, and it says, you've been nominated for Radio Personality of the Year. And I'm like, what? And then I saw who I was in the Dr. Hines, I saw who I was in the category with. And those that I was in the category with, I felt were like out of my league because they were on major radio stations and doing major things on television. And I'm in the same category as them. And I was just humbled and honored to be nominated and to be in the number. You know what I mean? So just to be in the number was exciting for me. So as I told my family, my friends, my brother came from New Jersey, and my youngest daughter was there, my goddaughter, and my cousin from New York was there, and everybody came, and we were just going to celebrate because I didn't have an expectation to win, but I had already won because I was nominated. Understand what I mean?
Yes.
So with that, I said, okay, we're going to go and celebrate. So we went, and, you know, the award show was taking place, and they get to the Radio Personality of the Year award, and they say my name. They said my name. My brother and I jumped up and looked at each other and said, what? Because we didn't go there with the expectation for my name to be called. Again, we were just going because I was just ecstatic to be in the number. So when they called my name, it was like The Price is Right. I ran down the aisle. And I got to the stage, and all I know is that pictures that I've seen, my hand is pointing to the Lord. I remember giving God the glory on that stage because it was all Him. And then after I have a seat, and then we go to take pictures because the award ceremony was coming to a close, so we were going to take pictures on the red carpet. And my goddaughter runs out. She said, Godmom, they're calling your name again. And I'm like, what? So we're like, what? And my daughter was getting ready to leave. And so we run back inside, and I won the People's Choice Award. Now, we're not talking about we're not talking about an award show with just 5 people sitting in the first 2 rows. We're talking about that place was packed out. We're talking about numerous nominees. We're talking about people that had been nominated but just didn't make the number. I thank God because I had no idea. I had no unction. I had no thought of ever being a radio show personality. I never had the unction of being a network owner. But what I want to tell your listeners today, Dr. Hine, is this. God will give you a glimpse of where He's going to take you. When I won those awards in October of 2017, and now today, in April going into May of 2018, I now own a network. God says to hold tight and hold fast to what He has for you. He's giving you a glimpse to take you somewhere. So if we have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart, a mind to understand, watch God and how He could change your life because He changed mine.
I tell you what, that was an amazing night. I was there that night, and you would have thought I had won an award for something. I don't know what, because nobody could have been cheering for you any louder than I was. That was an amazing experience. That Ashe Award is just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And I congratulate you yet again.
Thank you so much, and I thank you because, again, just like, and I want to point out what you just said. Friends celebrate. It says to rejoice with those that rejoice. Be joyful. Be happy for those who are growing and obtaining and doing things. We're supposed to celebrate with one another, and that tells you what type of person you are because friends celebrate friends. There's no competition in kingdom.
That's right. Now that is powerful. Say that again.
There is no competition in kingdom.
That's right.
We are one body, many members, but one body.
That's a powerful statement, too, because when you are ready to speak life, you can do it in all situations. And you can do it no matter what it is or who it is for. And that's what we have to remember. When life speaks, we've got to speak life. And part of speaking life is being able to celebrate those who are being successful, who are accomplishing things. Now, I can't believe our time is going by so fast. But I want you to say something to the listeners about the Women of Essence Radio and TV Network. I want you to just explain a little bit about what your vision is and how you see this playing out.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. This is all God's vision because, again, like I said earlier, I had no inkling or idea I would even be a radio personality or now even owning a network. God gave me the vision, and the vision was the WOW Network, Women of Essence Radio and Television, where we empower, inspire, educate, equip, and support women globally. And so this is a global movement. We are women coming together to shift the atmosphere around the world, to change the minds of people. See, what we have to understand is that to lose our mind is to gain the mind of Christ. So when we are letting people hear our message, when we're each individual woman, again, many members of one body, we all have an assignment, and everyone that is attached to the WOW Network has an assignment. They have a call, they have a tribe, they have women that are assigned to their message. They have to have an ear to hear, and we have to show up. But God has a mighty purpose and vision for the WOW Network. And like I said earlier, God will give you a glimpse, and he gave me a glimpse again, of where he's taken the WOW Network. And when I tell you, Dr. Hines, when I tell your listeners just to stay tuned, stay attached, stay in the midst of the WOW Network. Listen to When Life Speaks weekly, because watch God and how your life is going to shift just for showing up.
Oh, that is powerful. I really believe that, and I am grateful to be a part of this because I know that God has something amazing planned, not for those behind the scenes, but for those who are calling, for those who are looking, for those who are listening, and for those who are going to be sharing their stories and sharing their testimonies and giving us the strength that we need through what they have overcome. Now we are heading to our close. But
my goodness.
We do. Because you and I can go all day long.
Yes.
But before we close it out, Darlene, I would like for you to tell our listeners something that you held on to, a word of empowerment, something that will help them to speak life in the midst of the situations that they may face.
What I want to say and share with your listeners is to life happens and life speaks. And in that's when life is speaking, when life is happening. And I want to say the world has shown us and taught us that we go through it. But I want them to know this today, that you not only, the world says go through it, we grow through it. And as we grow through it, we become stronger. We become wiser. And instead of saying, I'm going through it, change your vocabulary today and say, I no longer go through it, I grow through it.
Awesome. Well, Darlene, our time together is up for right now, but tell me, first of all, will you come back again? Because I would love to have you back on the show again just to talk some more about different things that are happening in the progress of the WOW Network. So will you promise me you'll do that?
I promise. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and it's been fun being here with you. And I love speaking with you anyway. And I'm glad that you're giving me the opportunity to be introduced to your audience also. They already know, or if they don't know, they'll find out how awesome you are. And I'm glad that you are attached to the assignment at the WOW Network. So again, thank you for having me.
And thank you for being with us, Darlene. Thank you.
All right. I said blessings to you and all of your listeners.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break now, but you stay tuned because we will be right back.
Again, I want to thank our special guest, Darlene Mingo. It was such a pleasure to have her on the show, and I really hope that she'll be back with us again. Oh, and before I forget, the poem I read was an excerpt from the collection of verses of inspiration and encouragement called When He Whispers, written by yours truly, and available to you on Amazon.com. Now, when you go to Amazon.com, just put in When He Whispers by Andrea L. Hines. And that's important because there are a lot of whispers out there on Amazon.com, and you want to be sure that you are indeed getting the right one. I can't believe it, but it's almost time to wrap things up here at When Life Speaks. I hope you've enjoyed the music of our featured artist, Tim Watson, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. I sincerely pray you've heard something that will be beneficial to you or someone you know as we navigate through this thing called life together. But before we close, I do want to shift the atmosphere just a bit, because whatever music I play or whatever words I say, I will always want to acknowledge my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, none of this would be possible. I am grateful and I am blessed to have been able to share this time with you. He is a good and a gracious God, worthy of our praise and worthy of our worship. So before you go, just think on these things. Think on his goodness and listen to this.
Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. You've been so good.
Hi, this is Cinnamon Ruth Leggett, and you're listening to Worship in D-Flat, produced by CRL Studios in Raleigh, North Carolina, and featured in the Worship Box. For more information, visit www.cinnamonruthleggett.com. Thanks for listening.
Every day, oh, I thank you, God. I thank you, Lord. Every moment, I thank you, Lord.
We are going to have the honor and the privilege to have Cinnamon Ruth Leggett as a special guest on When Life Speaks and give us the story behind that worship box. And you'll want to be here when that happens, because I promise you, you will be blessed. It is going to bless your life. Now, we want to end the show with a quote or a word from the Word. You probably have a scripture that you will speak into the atmosphere that builds your faith and gives you strength. I put out a clarion call for those who chose to participate to send me those words that speak life to you, and they'll be included in this segment of the program. So if you haven't done so already, you can inbox me or contact me at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com and give me 3 things: your name, the city and state that you're from, and your word of encouragement, because I want to give you a shout out for being part of the WLS family. for taking time to join the show. Share with me and share with our listening audience, so whatever you send is what I'll say. Now for our first program, we're going to give a big shout out to Francina Booker right here in North Carolina. And her word in the Word is Romans 8:18. The New King James Version says, "For I consider that the sufferings of the present life are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is about to be revealed to us and in us." The Contemporary English Version reads, "I am sure that what we are suffering now cannot compare with the glory that will be shown to us." And the Message Bible reads, "That's why I don't think there's any comparison between the present hard times and the coming good times." Whew. I read this scripture and was reminded of the lyrics of the well-known song by J.J. Hairston and Youthful Praise. So whatever you are going through, remember, it can't be compared with the glory that will be revealed.
And it's coming after this. Clap your hands, come on. Hallelujah. We want to encourage you tonight. Come on, YP, sing it. There will be glory. There will be glory after this. Hallelujah. And there will be victory. There will be victory after this. Say, God will turn it around. God will turn it around. He will bring you out. He will bring you out. There will be glory after this. Now clap your hands if you believe it. There will be glory. There will be glory after this. Oh, I'm feeling that tonight. There will be victory. There will be victory after this. Say, God will turn. God will turn it around. He will. He will bring you out. There will be glory after this.
Well, that's it for now. Inbox me or email me at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. But whatever you do, remember you have the power to change your world. So make each day count and meet me here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. and receive the extra strength you may need to stay encouraged so that when life speaks, you will speak life.